Hi, you guys. Marcy with Marcella Camille Events. Hope you're having a great day. Hey, I want to chat with you about finding your wedding venue. We have gone through your budget, your location, your ideal date, curating your guest list. Now it is time to choose your wedding venue. So I've got 7 tips that I want to quickly go through with you. I have just posted a blog post on my website, www.marcellacamilleevents.com/blog, where you can find more helpful information on this. But for now, let's dive on in. So my first tip for you is actually just chatting about what to look for in a venue. I've mentioned before, but there are lots of different venue types that you can choose for your wedding. And the type of venue that you choose is really dependent on you and the theme and style that you are going for. There's resorts, there's barn weddings, there's community rental spaces, there are country clubs, etc. Choose one that fits you and your style most. If you don't know exactly what style it is, it's good to have a variety of venues that you are looking at. But specifically when it comes to looking at venues, do know that there are several different types of venues that offer multiple different things. An all-inclusive venue is going to come with tables, chairs, glassware, flatware, silverware, china, maybe some decor that it comes with, and then usually they also come with in-house catering and so take care of food and beverage for you. Then there are venues that take care of your tables, chairs, linens. So they provide all of that for you and possibly have some in-house lighting available at an additional fee, or it just comes with the venue. And then there are venues that come with the venue. That's it. Do remember that you're looking to spend about 11% of your overall budget on your wedding venue. If the venue is just coming with the venue itself, that might be slightly lesser than other venues, a slightly lesser fee than other venues that come with all-inclusive items. Okay, now how do we go about finding your venue? Well, handy Google is probably your very best friend. You can search on popular wedding websites such as The Knot, Wedding Wire, Style Me Pretty, Green Wedding Shoes, so many different Ruffled Brides. There's so many different wedding websites that you can go to that have basically market venues. There's a partnership with venue partners. Can't say that very well. Okay, but you can go there and find venues that are advertising with them. That's what I'm trying to say. Then I use Google. I recommend using Google since you know the area, hopefully you know the area that you are looking to host your wedding in. Basically, you search that geographical term. For example, in the Tahoe area, you would look up Tahoe plus wedding venue, or Tahoe wedding venue plus the amount of guests that you are looking to invite, or Tahoe lakefront wedding venue if you know that you want to be on the lake, not up in the mountains, etc. If you are looking for a San Francisco wedding venue, you would do San Francisco Golden Gate wedding venue, San Francisco high-rise wedding venue, etc. Don't forget to utilize Pinterest and Instagram if you are really searching several different places. Pinterest is just another search engine optimization website, so use that as a tool. Your region plus the wedding venue or the type of venue that you think that you're looking for. And then Instagram, use those hashtags, baby. You can find lots of great vendors with Instagram searching hashtags and region-specific hashtags as well. Lastly, utilize Facebook. You never know if any of your friends have great recommendations for a venue that would work just perfectly for you. And there are many region-specific wedding planning groups for helping you find and get connected with vendors. Okay, now the question is, how do I stay organized? I'm doing all this research on finding a venue. How do I keep organized with all this information I'm getting? Well, I recommend the handy dandy spreadsheet or Google Spreadsheets. And essentially, you just want to make sure that you have columns for the venue name, the venue city/location, the venue contact, the email address and phone number of the venue, and then the date that you inquired with them, the date that you were able to tour and the time, and then if you toured them, any notes that you'd like to take about the venue. And it's also a good idea to have a column for the guest capacity that venue holds. Next, let's see if I can pull this from my memory. No, look into the screen. Touring the venues. So tips for scheduling your tours for the venue. Generally, venue tours take between 30 minutes to an hour, so I recommend setting yourself an hour for each venue visit, and then giving yourself, depending on the location that you're in, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to get to your next venue tour. That could mean that you are touring 3 venues within one day, or you could be touring a lot more than that if you start early enough. But don't forget to schedule yourself time to use the restroom and time for lunch if you're going all day. And I recommend only visiting 5 venues. Don't overwhelm yourself with this search. It's good to have comps of 3 for venues. It's nice to have a few more than that if you really don't know what you're looking for. But really try and keep it simple once you've pared down from the Google search, which can be overwhelming, what you are looking for, and keep it within that 5. All right, so when you are on the tour, physically there in person, there are several things that I want you to keep in mind, be on the lookout for within the venue. You want to be looking at the flow of the venue, the overall flow for your guests, really be considering what the experience would be like for them. How is the flow from the parking lot into the ceremony site? Where are the restrooms? How is the flow from the ceremony site to the cocktail hour, to the reception room? And then back to the parking lot. Ask about parking, how much parking is available, if you needed to have a vehicle stay the night, is that allowed, and when do vehicles need to be out of the venue? Does the venue have getting ready areas? Is there a place for the bride and bridesmaids to hang out, the groom and the groomsmen? How far in advance do you have access to that getting ready area location? Do you need to get your hair and makeup done offsite, or can you do that at the venue all day? And speaking of all day, how long is your rental area or rental period for the venue? Do you have it for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours? Is it all day? Those are things that you definitely want to figure out. Does the venue come with Wi-Fi? That is something that is super handy for guests, especially if it's at a more remote location. And let's say you have guests that, have a babysitter for their child and they need to get in communication with that babysitter or need to be available. Just make sure that the venue has the ability to let your guests keep in contact with whoever they need to keep in contact with at home. And then think about the rental items and the overall aesthetic of the venue. Does the aesthetic of the venue, is it neutral? Is it like bright orange and purple and red? There are some venues like that. Does the aesthetic fit you? Does it fit your style? Does it fit your feel? And then if it is including items that you might be able to rent out from another venue, what does the quality of those items look like? And what does the actual, what do they look like? What do the chairs look like? What do the tables look like? What do the linens look like? How many colors do they provide? Is it just the standard white, ivory, and black, or do they offer an array of colored linens? Lastly, our 2 other items to take note of during your venue visit is guest accommodations, and this is really chatting about your guests that may have handicap needs. Is the venue handicap accessible? Do they have a handicap stall? How many restrooms are there? Is there a handicap accessible stall in the men's restroom and the women's restroom? And then overall upkeep of the venue. Do they do a good job taking care of it? Is it clean? I always recommend going into the restroom, and that goes with seeing how many restrooms there are. And then, is it tidy? Do they on your tour, it should be in the best state that it could be. In off season, you could expect for some renovation to be being done, but in general, you want to see it tidy. Is it smelly? Some older venues might have a smell to them. Are you okay with that? Would you maybe need to bring in some diffusers to mask that smell? And then as far as landscaping, how does that look? Do they take good care of it, even in the off season, knowing that of course some plants are dead within the off season, but how does it look in general? So those are all things to take note of when you are there physically on a tour for a venue. Now, if you decide that you would like to book a venue while you're there, go ahead and chat with the venue coordinator about placing a hold. And oftentimes holds are available for 24 hours to sometimes a week. And that would be a soft hold. If there is someone that comes in after you and says, hey, we want the same date as this person, we're ready to book right now, then generally you have first right of refusal to accept that date. And then if you decided not, this is who is knocking. Say hi. Okay, interruptions, woo! All right, if you're ready to book, expect them to ask for your full names, your full address, and then fill out a credit card authorization form. They'll likely keep your credit card on file. Some venues only take credit card, others will take cash, a cashier's check, or, credit card. Some take multiple forms of payment, some don't, depending on who you're working with. Then they will take a percentage of the overall venue booking fee, and that will be in the form of a retainer. And that, with a signed contract, will secure your date. Once you've got your venue, then you can go to booking all the rest of your vendors. But your next step would be securing your VIP vendors and then letting your family, your VIP guests, family and friends know, hey, we've got our venue, we've got our date. A few other considerations for your venue. In light of COVID-19, we are definitely recommending that you check with your venue and see what their postponement policy is or cancellation policy. God forbid there would be a need for you to cancel, but check with them about that. And ideally, you want to have a postponement policy that is mutually beneficial for the venue and for you as the client. If they are charging a postponement fee, basically they would charge a certain amount to move your venue to a new date, move your wedding to a new date at the venue, and they are losing money. If this weren't for COVID-19, they would be out some money because they would have already turned away several business inquiries for that date. But if they don't, other venues are just saying, okay, we are allowing one postponement date within a calendar year. That's a very popular thing to see. Then secondly, I just wanted to say a note on venue coordinators. I myself have been a venue coordinator in the past, so I definitely know what I'm talking about. But venue coordinators are not the same as wedding planners. And venue coordinators are also called wedding coordinators provided by the venue. And I just wanted to make sure that there are different roles, essentially. Day of, they will make sure that your wedding is run according to your timeline. Most will not set up your wedding decor, and they don't help with all the planning behind or beforehand, behind the scenes. They usually don't contact your venue or your vendors beforehand. They don't do a lot of the things that a wedding planner would for you. A wedding coordinator is really just there to make sure that everything runs smoothly on the venue side, and then they can also help run your wedding day according to timeline. And you will usually have one meeting with the venue, and they'll require, choose your linens, let's get the timeline. If they provide in-house catering, that's when you select your meal, etc. All those final decisions are given to them. But oftentimes a wedding coordinator will leave once all the official, maybe usually during dinner or after dinner, it has served, and then they will leave it to one of their head staff members to close your wedding down at the end of the night. So if you are wanting more personable and personal attention beforehand and someone to be there throughout your whole wedding day, you'd be looking for a wedding planner. So just don't have any surprises. Working on the venue coordination side, it's confusing. It's confusing for brides to know, what titles take care of what service items for you. All right, that is it. This is a long video. It's a long blog post, but there's a lot to say on that. A venue is one of the most important things for you to book when it comes to your wedding. It sets a tone for your wedding day, and it is the place, the space that you and your loved ones are gathering to celebrate your union together. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below, and check out the blog post, www.marcelacamilleevents.com/blog, and we'll see you next time.